Police investigators served Metro Health Medical Center with a formal search warrant on August 4, 2022. That warrant demanded one specific thing: preserve Mackenzie Shirilla's blood sample from the morning of the crash. Metro Health destroyed the sample the very next day. Welcome back. Part 1 of this series covered the crime, the investigation, the trial, and the conviction. Watch Part 1 first if you have not already. Links are in the description. Everything we will cover in this video comes directly from official Strongsville Police Department records, prosecution case files, verified reporting, and hours of uncut jail call audio released publicly by Strongsville Police. In Part 1, we gave you the full story. This Part 2 gives you what was buried inside hundreds of pages of police documents and hours of recorded calls that Netflix never touched. Let's start with that blood sample, because what happened to it is one of the most troubling administrative failures in this entire case. And by the time this video is over, you will have heard Mackenzie's own voice, her mother's own voice, and her friends' own voices telling you everything you need to know about who these people really are. Mackenzie was airlifted to Metro Health Medical Center on the morning of July 31, 2022. Standard emergency procedure includes drawing blood immediately. Investigators needed that sample. So on August 4, 2022, the lead investigator served Metro Health with a formal search warrant demanding it be preserved and turned over. Metro Health's lab received the warrant. Staff acknowledged it. On August 5, 2022, the very next day, Metro Health destroyed Mackenzie's July 31st blood sample, citing their standard disposal policy. Investigators called the lab to confirm. Staff told them directly. The blood from July 31st was disposed of on August 5th. The search warrant had been served the day before. The disposal happened anyway. This detail is sourced directly from the official police report, read on camera by podcast host, who received the documents in 2023 when she was approached to participate in an earlier documentary about the case. What made that loss so significant is what that blood could have revealed. Mackenzie's blood-drawn days later on August 3rd showed only THC, consistent with marijuana use. Witnesses confirmed the group was actively seeking acid the night before the crash and discussing mushrooms. Both substances stayed detectable in the system for longer than a few days. Alcohol does not. Alcohol metabolizes completely within hours. By August 3rd, any alcohol would have been entirely undetectable. Nobody knows definitively what was in Mackenzie's system at 5:34 in the morning. Not prosecutors, not the defense, not the public. Because the most critical piece of biological evidence from the morning of the crash no longer exists. Mackenzie's attorneys have since pointed to the absence of a complete toxicology report as part of their appeal argument. Investigators documented in the police report that they served the warrant correctly and on time. What happened on August 5th remains unexplained in the record. Mackenzie's mother, Natalie, was at the hospital every day while her daughter recovered. Nobody questions that. What investigators documented in the police report goes considerably beyond a worried mother at her daughter's bedside. On August 1st, 2022, the day after the crash, at 9:05 in the morning, police spoke with Natalie at the hospital. According to the police report, Natalie told officers her husband Steve had instructed the family not to speak to anyone without legal representation. That is completely within their rights. But Natalie also told officers within 24 hours of two teenagers being found dead in her daughter's car that her primary concern was the public reaction on social media. Later that same day, Natalie called the police station. According to the police report, she asked for Mackenzie's cell phone back, saying she needed access to Mackenzie's Snapchat account to retrieve a passcode. Police told her the phone was material evidence under an active search warrant review. The phone would not be released. According to the police report, Natalie continued calling back repeatedly. Every day, same request, Snapchat access. Investigators noted in the report that Snapchat messages delete automatically after being viewed unless specifically saved, making it one of the hardest platforms to preserve as evidence once someone gains access to the account. On August 6, 2022, 7 days after the crash, Natalie called police again. This time she was reporting that people on social media were blaming Mackenzie and saying she had done it on purpose. Dominic's first memorial service was scheduled the following day. The following day, Mackenzie became so agitated inside the hospital that she tried to sign herself out against medical advice. She wanted to attend Dominic's service. Medical staff advised against it. Mackenzie became combative. Officers were called and dispatched to the hospital room. A nurse was ultimately able to talk Mackenzie into staying. During those early weeks, police observations documented Mackenzie directing her parents from her hospital bed. According to the police report, she told her parents to leave the room when officers arrived. She told them not to speak to investigators without her present. When officers returned cash recovered from the crash vehicle, Mackenzie demanded her parents place it in her bag immediately. Her parents complied every single time. Steve Shirilla reportedly left the room when Mackenzie told him to go. Natalie deferred to her daughter every time. Based on what investigators documented across multiple visits to that hospital room, Mackenzie directed the household. Her parents followed. Mackenzie's circle of friends largely refused to cooperate with investigators after the crash. At least one of them had been given a specific reason to stay quiet, and according to the police report, that reason came directly from Mackenzie's father. Landon Turner, known to the group as Bubba, was the boyfriend of Mackenzie's closest friend Rosie. Shortly after the crash, Landon asked Davian Flanagan's family for permission to walk through Davian's bedroom to find some closure. Davian's parents granted the request. Investigators noted Landon was simultaneously refusing to cooperate with the investigation entirely. He would not answer calls. He would not agree to an interview. Davian's parents shared with investigators something Landon had told them privately. While visiting Mackenzie at the hospital, Steve Shirilla approached Landon directly, looked him in the eye, and, according to the police report, said, "Help me save my daughter." Landon sought closure in Davian's bedroom. He grieved that loss deeply enough to ask his family for access to his most personal space. But he would not speak to the people investigating how Davian died. Rosie, Mackenzie's closest friend, also defended Mackenzie publicly and said nothing damaging in her Netflix appearance. During her interview, Rosie said the group had collectively decided not to take mushrooms the night of the party. What the police report documents is something Rosie did not mention on Netflix. On the night of July 30th, before Mackenzie even arrived at Paul's house, Rosie sent Mackenzie a text message. According to investigators who reviewed the message, it contained a list of names of people interested in purchasing controlled substances from Mackenzie that night. This detail is in the prosecution's own case documents, confirmed by Fox 8. Paul, another friend who was there that night, told investigators he personally refused to get in a car with Mackenzie. According to the police report, his exact description was that she was a bad driver who got into fights while driving. Rosie had separately warned Paul directly, "Do not get in the car with Kenzie." Paul knew. Rosie knew. Every adult connected to Mackenzie who appeared on the Netflix documentary said the same thing. Mackenzie was happy. Mackenzie had a beautiful life. Mackenzie never had thoughts of hurting herself. Strongsville Police and Fire Department records from 2020 document something different. Strongsville Fire and EMS responded to the Shirilla residence after Mackenzie allegedly threatened to harm herself. Investigators requested a psychiatric evaluation. Mackenzie was not transported to the hospital for that evaluation. The police record, compiled by Crime Timelines directly from official Strongsville documents, states the following. Responders documented that Mackenzie was not transported because her parents reportedly did not believe the threats were real and did not believe she would harm herself. Her parents told first responders their daughter's threats were not real. Mackenzie stayed home. No psychiatric evaluation. No documented follow-up. 2 years later, multiple friends who were close to Mackenzie during the period leading up to the crash told investigators she threatened to take her own life on a regular basis. According to information gathered during the investigation, she had also reportedly stopped taking prescribed antidepressants because she did not like how they made her feel. Her parents told Netflix she was responsible, happy, and had nothing to worry about. Strongsville first responders documented something they experienced firsthand at the Shirilla residence in 2020. A teenager making self-harm threats and parents who told them not to worry about it. Nobody followed up. Nobody intervened. Mackenzie went home. The Part 1 on our channel covered the incident on Interstate 71 2 weeks before the crash where Mackenzie threatened to crash the car with Dominic inside it. That was not the only documented pattern of dangerous behavior behind the wheel. Multiple people who knew Mackenzie told investigators the same thing. Paul refused to ride with her. Rosie warned Paul directly never to get in her car. Beyond the witness accounts, Mackenzie documented herself. Police recovered Snapchat videos of Mackenzie driving at speeds exceeding 90 miles per hour, some reaching 100 miles per hour, while recording herself with her left foot on the pedal. Mackenzie posted these videos. She was proud enough of this behavior to share it publicly with her followers. Police also recovered videos of her smoking marijuana while driving and posting those as well. In March 2022, Dominic himself texted someone saying Mackenzie had hit him and tried to throw a rock at him. Later that same month, he texted Mackenzie directly telling her she was driving like a maniac. Both messages are documented in the text message release. Neither the Snapchat speeding videos nor the maniac driving text made it into the Netflix documentary. Paul knew. Rosie knew. Dominic himself had put it in writing. None of that information ever reached Davian Flanagan. Strongsville police released approximately 32,000 text messages between Mackenzie and Dominic in May 2026. Fox 8 confirmed this release. Among those messages were repeated arguments about something that had been a consistent source of conflict between them for over 2 years. Investigators documented that Mackenzie had been receiving money through Cash App from various contacts. Beyond the suspected drug activity, investigators found evidence that Mackenzie had been exchanging content with other users through Snapchat in exchange for money. The Tab, reporting from the prosecution's own case documents published June 1, 2026, confirmed this finding. Police concluded the activity was voluntary and without coercion. Dominic knew about it. Arguments about it appear throughout the text message records. In January 2022, Mackenzie texted Dominic, "You realize I am just going to get a sugar daddy and start selling feet pictures, and I am going to be doing just fine. So, this is really your last chance." In March 2022, Dominic wrote back during another argument, "You let a guy do something to your feet for money." Mackenzie replied, "We were broken up." By June 2022, the same argument was still happening. Dominic wrote, "Last time you started hanging out with her, you literally let her sell your body to that random guy." Mackenzie replied, "We were broken up, and it was my feet." In July 2022, less than a month before the crash, Dominic told Mackenzie he did not think they should be together anymore. He wrote, "There is not very much time on Earth." Mackenzie responded with a message saying she was going to kill someone. These exchanges are documented in the prosecution's case files and confirmed by The Tab, TMZ, and Oxygen reporting from May and June 2026. Netflix included none of them. Something shifted in the early morning hours of July 31, 2022. Nobody who survived knows exactly what, but the police report includes details about Dominic's behavior in those final hours. Between 12:41 and 3:30 in the morning, Dominic sent messages to his brother, friends, his mother, and his father. According to the police report, he attempted to FaceTime his friend Blair at 2:41 in the morning. Blair later told investigators this was very unusual for Dominic. Not something he would do at that hour without a reason. His messages during that window expressed love for the people receiving them. Nobody knows if Dominic felt something was wrong that night. Nobody knows what was said inside Paul's house or inside that car before 5:34 in the morning. What the police report establishes is that in the hours before his death, Dominic Russo was reaching out to the people he loved. Davian Flanagan got into that car because Mackenzie and Dominic offered him a ride home. Davian had no reason not to trust them. He was just catching a ride. Both of them were gone before sunrise. Dominic's family buried him. Davian's family buried him. Both families began the long work of surviving without their sons. On September 17, 2022, 48 days after the crash, Mackenzie attended Kid Cudi's Moonman's Landing Festival in Cleveland, Ohio. This is confirmed. The festival took place on that date at the West Bank Flats in Cleveland, Kid Cudi's hometown. Then came Halloween. Mackenzie attended a Halloween gathering in a costume witnesses described as resembling a corpse. Davian's father, Scott, addressed this directly in the Netflix documentary. His words, "Dressing up as corpses 3 months after she killed 2 people sickened us to the very core." Mackenzie's mother said in court she personally encouraged Mackenzie to go, wanting her daughter to have 1 hour of normal life after months of grief. During this same pre-arrest period, according to the police report, Natalie Shirilla was actively discouraging Mackenzie's friends from cooperating with investigators. Steve Shirilla had approached Landon at the hospital with the plea to help save his daughter. Friends who had privately warned each other about Mackenzie's driving were publicly defending her online. Mackenzie was not arrested until November 4, 2022. On that day, an officer approached her and said, "You are under arrest for aggravated murder, ×2."
You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay?
Mackenzie's response, documented on body cam footage released publicly by Strongsville Police and confirmed by People Magazine, Fox News, and AOL, was to ask the officer to be careful with her bracelet.
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it.
When everything from the police report is assembled together, what emerges is not a mystery. Investigators understood what happened on Progress Drive. The black box confirmed it. The security footage confirmed it. The prior threats confirmed it. A court of law confirmed it. What investigators found surrounding that event was an environment that had been reinforcing this outcome for years. Parents who were told in 2020 their daughter was threatening to harm herself and told first responders not to worry about it. Friends who privately warned each other never to ride with Mackenzie while publicly posting support for her. A best friend who sent her a list of drug buyers the night of the party and then appeared on Netflix saying nothing suspicious happened. Evidence destroyed the day after a warrant demanded its preservation. None of these pieces individually proves a coordinated effort. Each has an explanation. Reading hundreds of pages of police records produces a considerably more complete picture. Now here is where the story goes from disturbing to something else entirely. Because in the week since the Netflix documentary premiered, Strongsville Police released hours of uncut recorded jail calls. Not snippets, not edited highlights. Full uncut recordings between Mackenzie, her mother, and her friends. What is on those calls is something you need to hear. Not summarized, described in full detail, with exact quotes. So you can decide for yourself what they reveal about Mackenzie Shirilla. Multiple jail calls between Mackenzie and her friends, Rosie Graham, Kendra, and Faith, have been released and verified by news organizations. What is inside them is the clearest picture available of who Mackenzie Shirilla is when she believes nobody significant is judging her. Start with a call verified and published by TMZ on May 30th, 2026. Mackenzie was speaking with Rosie Graham and Faith. During the conversation, she complained about paying for a music streaming service while incarcerated. Mackenzie told them the service was terrible because it only featured untalented underground artists. According to TMZ, who obtained and published the audio directly, she then described those artists as the Davians and Doms of the world. Pause on that.
Like, I know I didn't just pay $20 for 200,000 songs of people that recorded in their basement. I'm irritated as I can't refund it. So now I'm just stuck with this like, I'm so irritated. Like, I called my mom, I'm like, Mom, I can freak the out. Like, I just bought this subscription of like, not even underground, like Davions and Doms and shit of the world, like, Tyler Proctor's people that just, like,
Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan, the two people Mackenzie was convicted of murdering, used as a casual descriptor for artists she considered talentless, in a jail call, while serving concurrent life sentences for killing them. Mackenzie did qualify the statement moments later, saying she would actually prefer listening to Davion and Dom over the artists on the service.
Literally,
honestly, I wish it sounded like Davion and Dom in the studio, but no, it's literally like, who is it? It's giving Yusuf. It's giving
Kid Worry. It's giving Joey.
As TMZ noted in their published report, it was not entirely clear why she brought them up at all. Later in that same verified call, Mackenzie asked her friends to get onto her social media accounts and unfollow certain people for her. Mackenzie and her friends then laughed together, imagining how confused those people would be when they noticed Mackenzie had unfollowed them, joking about whether they would wonder if she was somehow out of prison.
Well, he's stupid because I'm going to Rosie's today.
Oh, are y'all coming over? Y'all going to my house tonight at night?
Yes.
Yeah, and we're going to your mom.
Yes, my mom told me, like, I really need y'all to unfollow, like, all these weird like, anyone that y'all get weird vibes from.
Yeah.
Or that does,
I'm so excited to
follow me back.
Because, yeah.
They're going to be like, wait, how did Kenzie unfollow me? Like, bitch, yes, I don't follow you no more. And what about her?
Kenzie out of jail, she unfollowed me.
Yes, because I know they're keeping up with Kenzie, folks.
Bro, I'm dead. Imagine if your account was just, like, commenting back at people like, oh, really?
Honestly, I almost want y'all to have, like, you need to, like, come over every once in a while and, like, go through my phone. But you need to, like, unfollow, like, even people that are, like, friends with ops and aren't saying anything like that.
Yeah.
Across these calls with her friends, Mackenzie dispensed relationship advice, made fun of people whose names came up in conversation, used offensive slurs as casual vocabulary. Across all of it, there is no unprompted mention of Dominic's family. No unprompted mention of Davion's family. No moment where Mackenzie brings up what happened on July 31st, 2022, without being directly prompted. Just food, boys, followers, music streaming complaints. Separately, TMZ and Cleveland 19 obtained and published multiple verified calls between Mackenzie and her mother Natalie. What is on those calls covers a remarkable range of topics for someone serving a life sentence for murder. On May 28, 2026, there was a published audio of Mackenzie telling her mother about the men who were writing to her in prison. During that call, Mackenzie could barely contain herself talking about a man named Kevin. Her words, according to the verified audio, were, "I love him. Do not ask me who that is, but I love him. Do not even ask me how old he is. Do not even care that much. I just love him so much. He is so fun to talk to." Mackenzie then listed other men she enjoyed corresponding with, including someone named Sam and someone named Phil, before saying, "It is all boys. That is so bad." On May 29, 2026, another published audio of Mackenzie and her mother laughing over comments Mackenzie had received after one of her court appearances. A friend named Kendra had messaged Mackenzie saying she watched the live stream of the proceedings and immediately noticed something about Mackenzie's appearance. According to the verified audio, the message read, "Your ass has gotten so big." Mackenzie's mother Natalie then exclaimed, "Everybody is saying you got a bumping little booty now." Both of them laughed. This conversation was happening in the context of a murder trial for the deaths of Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan. On June 1st, 2026, a published audio of Mackenzie complaining to her mother about being bored in prison. Mackenzie said she did not have access to her commissary and had only one book she did not want to keep rereading. When her mother suggested getting a job mopping or sweeping to pass the time, Mackenzie told her she had heard they do not let people with charges like hers get jobs inside the facility. Mackenzie then added she had not actually asked the staff about this.
Supposed to be 3 to 4 days. I know. But
How am I going to make this one book stretch?
you may have to read it a couple times.
I'm not reading the same book over and over and over again.
I don't know, Kenzie. I don't know. This super sucks. They should have when you come, they should be able to give you like a welcome, not a welcome thing, but like, you're new, it's going to take a week to get your commissary, here's some
We need to just figure out this iPad like ASAP. Like, I'm so for real.
And my visitation is still pending for my video visits, and they're just said they'll contact me when I'm approved. So.
And get all my friends to make them too.
I did. I sent it to everybody. So.
I'm annoyed.
I can't make them. But yeah, this is gonna suck until you can get your.
Like, it's only 3:30. How is it only 3:30? For real.
I don't know.
I did not even know it was only 3:30. I thought it was like 5. It's 3:30.
Can you get a job?
No, because I have the charges that I have, so they don't let people with charges like me get jobs. That's what I'm told. I haven't asked the staff yet, though.
Ask the staff if there's something you
But
can
I probably
do.
can't get a job because I'm on the 7th floor. They probably are not going to let me get a job.
They should let you sweep and mop or do something. Just ask, is there a job I can do or something to help? Yeah.
Dominic Russo's family has spent those same days managing a gravesite that was set on fire by an unknown person, destroying flowers, laminated letters from his nephews, and items placed there by people who loved him. His sister Christine has been building a nonprofit and pushing for legislation in his name. Mackenzie has been bored. Now come the calls that have generated the most public outrage of everything that has been released. Cleveland 19, WOIO, and TMZ all independently obtained and published audio from a jail call between Mackenzie and her mother, where the two rehashed the victim impact statements from the sentencing hearing. During the sentencing, Dominic's brother, Angelo Russo, stood at a podium and addressed the court. Angelo talked about losing his brother. He mentioned wanting to serve in the military. He was a young man grieving his brother in front of a judge. In the jail call, Mackenzie told her mother she thought what Angelo said was crazy. She asked her mother why Angelo was, in her words, such a liar. Mackenzie Shirilla's response, documented on the released audio, was this: "They are just evil people, baby. Do not think about it. Do not think on it anymore." Angelo Russo was at that podium because his brother was dead. Mackenzie Shirilla called his family evil. Natalie also dismissed Angelo's mention of the military, suggesting he said it only to sound respectable to the judge. According to the verified audio, Mackenzie herself said, "Mom, that is a lie." He said that so the judge would think he sounds like a very respectable young man. She then said that statement literally made her tears stop. She described her tears getting sucked right back up when she heard it.
Military, are you for real?
Oh, Mom, that's a lie. I think he said that so, like, the judge is like, oh, he sounds very respectable young man. That literally, like, made my tears stop when they said that. Like, my tears just got all sucked right back up.
Natalie added. Dom would be beside his own self over what was said in court. In a separate call published on June 2nd, 2026, Natalie and Mackenzie discussed the community of Strongsville, Ohio, where Dominic and Davian grew up and where both are buried. Natalie told Mackenzie that neighbors had been spreading stories about their home being an unsupervised party house. Natalie said, "Everybody is making stuff up." Both she and Mackenzie described the residents of Strongsville as sad and depressing. Also, in the released calls, Mackenzie told her mother, "Do not go broke fighting for me for a lost cause." Her mother replied immediately, "It is not a lost cause." In another call, where Mackenzie asked about the appeals process, she said, "If we appeal it, does that mean they can give me more time?" Her mother told her immediately not to discuss it on the recorded call.
And then if we have to appeal it, then you will. We'll revisit that.
They said the appeal takes like a year, so.
Time served is time served with that.
I'm saying an appeal takes like a year.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So I'll be sitting in jail for a year before my appeal is even maybe seen.
Kenzie, we can't go there. Please just don't go there. Just live in right now, okay?
I mean, I hope
no
the truth
sense in getting worked
prevails.
up.
If they see the truth, and they'll know that this was nothing but a car accident.
Every one of these calls was recorded by the jail facility. Every one of them was released by Strongsville police. Every one of them is now public record. Beyond the verified jail call audio, multiple former inmates at the Ohio Reformatory for Women have now spoken publicly about their time with Mackenzie. Kat Crowder spent 6 months in the same facility as Mackenzie. Kat gave on-camera interviews to News Nation and Fox 8 in 2026. When she watched Mackenzie appear in the Netflix documentary, Kat said her jaw dropped. She told News Nation that was not the person she saw in prison. Mackenzie, according to Kat, walked around with a light demeanor. There was no dark or remorseful presence. The person in the documentary was performing something Kat had never witnessed firsthand. Kat also told News Nation that other inmates had told her Mackenzie allegedly said she was high at the time of the crash. That claim directly contradicts Mackenzie's own defense that a medical episode caused what happened.
Joining me now is social media influencer Kat Crowder. Thank you so much for taking the time. Why do you believe that?
Thank you for having me. When Mackenzie first walked out in the documentary, my jaw was dropped because that was not the person that I saw in prison when I was with her. She walked around in a very light demeanor, if that makes sense. So lots of laughing, lots of giggling, makeup done every day. It was never this dark, smug, tough girl act that was in this video, trying to portray some sort of remorse. I never, I don't know what somebody's thinking. I don't know what's going on in her head, but from my observations, there was never any, behaviors that looked like somebody who was remorseful.
Did she ever talk about the crash? Did she ever talk about the victims in the case?
Not directly to me, but I've spoke to a few women since me being released and, going on about her case, and they've came out and said that they had conversations with her, and she informed them that it was not due to pot, it was due to her being high. There's a few different stories that she's had. One was that
Cheyenne Topping, a former inmate who dated Mackenzie briefly inside the facility, spoke to People magazine. When Cheyenne first noticed Mackenzie in the prison yard, she described the energy immediately as mean girl. Full Regina George radiating off her, Cheyenne said. Mackenzie moved through the facility with a group of people around her who Cheyenne described as looking like the plastics from Mean Girls, prison style. Cheyenne and Mackenzie eventually formed a connection inside and briefly dated. After Cheyenne was released and began speaking publicly on TikTok about her experience in August 2025, she started receiving threatening text messages. According to Cheyenne's account in People magazine, some messages contained only her mother's name or her home address. She believed the messages were being coordinated by inmates still inside the facility on Mackenzie's behalf. Cheyenne went silent for several months out of fear. Former cellmate Mary Catherine Crowder told the New York Post that Mackenzie thought of herself as the queen bee inside the facility, and that financial support from her parents allowed her to live more comfortably than most other inmates. Mary Catherine said she never witnessed any remorse from Mackenzie during the time they spent together. Dominic's sister, Christine Russo, has summarized all of it plainly. She said she is still doing that in jail. The manipulation. She just ran the show since she was young, and she is running it in there too. One of the most unexpected voices to enter this conversation in 2026 came from Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose, who herself served time for her involvement in the death of her mother and has since become a public voice on criminal justice issues, was asked directly by TMZ whether Mackenzie felt remorseful for the deaths of Dominic and Davian. Gypsy Rose said she did not believe that was the case. When you consider everything that has come out since the Netflix documentary premiered, that assessment is difficult to argue with. Mackenzie used the names of the two people she was convicted of killing as a punchline about bad music. Her mother called the grieving Russo family evil. Both of them mocked Angelo Russo's mention of the military from inside a recorded jail call. Mackenzie complained about being bored. Mackenzie gushed about male pen pals. Her mother laughed about Mackenzie's physical appearance during a murder trial. Together, they called the community of Strongsville, where two families are still grieving, sad, and depressing. All of this is on tape. All of it was released by Strongsville police. All of it is now public record. None of it is hearsay. While Mackenzie files appeals and gives Netflix interviews and records jail calls, the families of Dominic Russo and Davian Flanagan are doing something else. Dominic's sister, Christine Russo, launched a nonprofit called the Change the Game for Dom Foundation, dedicated to giving underprivileged children access to the sport Dominic loved. Christine is also pushing for legislation she is calling Dom and Davian's Law. The goal is to prevent convicted violent offenders from profiting off their crimes through paid media appearances, documentaries, merchandise, or social media accounts. Her petition gathered over 86,000 signatures within 1 week of the Netflix documentary airing. Mackenzie sat down for Netflix. Her parents gave interviews. Her father, Steve Shirilla, whose teaching contract at Mary Queen of Peace Catholic School in Cleveland was not renewed following the documentary's release, gave podcast interviews. Christine Russo is building legislation. As of the recording of this video, Mackenzie's latest Ohio Supreme Court appeal, filed on April 27, 2026, remains pending. Every prior court that has reviewed her conviction has upheld it. The Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office stated publicly, Prosecutor O'Malley believes without question that Mackenzie Shirilla is guilty of murder. We are confident that any court that reviews this case will come to the same conclusion. Dominic Russo was 20 years old. Davian Flanagan was 19 years old. Neither of them had any idea what had been building in the years and months before the morning of July 31st, 2022. Both of them deserved to come home. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you want this level of depth and verification on every case. Part 1 is linked in the description below. Dominic, Davian, rest well.